Tincture making, creating concentrated herbal extracts using alcohol or glycerin. The art of crafting your own herbal tinctures is one of the most rewarding skills a home herbalist can develop. It bridges the gap between the wild beauty of a garden and the practical needs of daily wellness. When you bottle the essence of a plant, you are essentially capturing a moment in time and preserving the potent chemistry of nature in a form that remains shelf stable for years. This guide will walk you through every nuance of creating concentrated herbal extracts using alcohol and glycerin while keeping things simple and approachable. Understanding the heart of a tincture. At its core, a tincture is a liquid extract made by soaking herbs in a solvent known as a menstruum. The solvent acts like a tiny chemical magnet pulling out the active compounds from the plant material. While water is a great solvent for tea, it cannot catch everything. Some plant properties like resins and essential oils need something stronger to coax them out of the leaves or roots. This is where alcohol and glycerin shine. Alcohol is the traditional choice because it is incredibly efficient at breaking down cell walls and extracting a wide range of constituents. It also acts as a powerful preservative. On the other hand, glycerin is a sweet, syrupy alternative that is perfect for children or those who prefer to avoid alcohol entirely. Each has its own personality and its own way of interacting with the plants you love. Why you should make your own extracts. Buying pre-made tinctures from a health food store can get expensive very quickly. Often, a small 1-ounce bottle costs as much as a whole pound of dried herbs. By making your own, you save a significant amount of money and gain complete control over the quality of your ingredients. You know exactly where the herbs came from, and you know the solvent is pure. There is also a deep sense of connection that happens when you shake a jar every day for a month, watching the liquid darken as it absorbs the life of the plant. The master tools of the trade. You do not need a laboratory to make high-quality extracts. In fact, most of what you need is likely already sitting in your kitchen cabinets. Having the right tools makes the process cleaner and ensures your final product is potent and safe to use. Essential supplies. Glass jars. Always use glass for the maceration process. Mason jars with tight-fitting lids are the gold standard. Avoid plastic because the high alcohol content can leach chemicals out of the plastic and into your medicine. Cheesecloth or muslin. You will need a way to strain the herbs once the extraction is finished. A fine mesh strainer works too, but a cloth allows you to squeeze every last drop of liquid out of the plant material. So dark glass bottles. Once your tincture is finished, you want to store it in amber or cobalt blue glass bottles. These protect the delicate compounds from light degradation. Labels and markers. Never skip this step. A jar of brown liquid looks like every other jar of brown liquid after 3 weeks. You need to record the herb name, the solvent type, the date, and the ratio. While the folk method uses volume measurements, a scale allows for precision and repeatability. Choosing your menstruum, the liquid base. The liquid you choose to soak your herbs in is just as important as the herbs themselves. It determines what gets extracted and how long the final product will last. The power of alcohol. Alcohol is the most common solvent for a reason. It extracts alkaloids and glycosides and resins and volatile oils, which are the heavy hitters of the plant world. Most herbalists use a clear neutral spirit like vodka or cane alcohol. The proof of the alcohol matters immensely. 80 proof. Vodka is 40% alcohol and 60% water. This is perfect for dried herbs because the water content helps rehydrate the plant material while the alcohol does the extracting. If you are working with fresh juicy plants like lemon balm or dandelion roots, you might want a higher proof like 100 or even 190 to account for the water already present in the plant. The gentle nature of glycerin extracts are technically called glycerites. Vegetable glycerin is a clear, odorless, and sweet liquid derived from fats. It is not as strong as alcohol, and it has a shorter shelf life, usually around 1 to 2 years. However, it is wonderful for herbs intended for kids or for soothing the digestive tract. It is particularly good at extracting tannins and some minerals, but it struggles with resins. The folk method versus the ratio method. There are two main schools of thought when it comes to tincture making. Both work, but they serve different purposes. The folk method. This is the intuitive way our ancestors made medicine. You simply fill a jar about halfway with dried herbs or 2/3 full with fresh herbs, and then pour your liquid over the top until the herbs are covered by at least 2 inches. It is simple and requires no math. It is perfect for home use where you are not worried about exact dosages and just want a reliable remedy. The ratio method. Professional herbalists prefer the weight to volume method. This involves weighing your herbs and measuring your liquid in a specific ratio, like 1 part herb to 5 parts alcohol. For example, if you have 100 grams of dried chamomile, you would add 500 milliliters of vodka. This ensures that every batch you make has the same strength. Using this formula helps you stay consistent, especially if you are sharing your tinctures with friends or family. Step-by-step guide to alcohol tinctures. Making an alcohol-based extract is a lesson in patience. It is a slow dance between the spirit and the plant. Preparing the herbs. If you are using fresh herbs, harvest them in the morning after the dew has dried but before the sun gets too hot. Chop them finely to increase the surface area. For dried herbs, make sure they are from a reputable source and still have their vibrant color and scent. If a dried herb smells like hay, it is probably too old to be useful. The maceration process. Place your herbs in the clean glass jar. Pour your chosen alcohol over the herbs until they are completely submerged. If the herbs soak up all the liquid in the first 24 hours, add a bit more alcohol. You want a layer of liquid sitting on top to prevent mold from growing on any exposed plant material. Seal the jar tightly. Give it a vigorous shake and place it in a cool, dark place. A kitchen cupboard is perfect. Do not put it in a sunny windowsill, as the UV rays will break down the active ingredients you are trying to capture. The waiting game. Let the jar sit for 4 to 6 weeks. Shake it every day or as often as you remember. Shaking helps move the solvent around and ensures that every part of the herb comes into contact with the alcohol. As the days pass, you will see the liquid change color. A bright green nettle tincture might turn a deep forest green, while a berry tincture might turn a rich purple. Straining and bottling. After the time is up, place your cheesecloth over a clean bowl. Pour the contents of the jar into the cloth. Gather the corners and squeeze with all your might. You want to get every single drop of that liquid gold. The leftover herb material, which is called the marc, can be composted. Transfer your finished tincture into dark glass dropper bottles. Label them immediately. Include the name of the herb, the date, and the alcohol percentage. Store them in a cool, dark cabinet, and they will remain potent for 3 to 5 years. Crafting sweet glycerites. Glycerin requires a slightly different approach because it is thicker and less aggressive than alcohol. The glycerin water mix. Pure glycerin is very thick and can be hard to work with. Most herbalists use a mixture of 75% glycerin and 25% distilled water. This thins it out enough to penetrate the plant material more effectively. The heat method option. Because glycerin is a weaker solvent, some people like to use a bit of gentle heat to speed things up. You can place your jars in a slow cooker filled with a few inches of water on the lowest setting for about 3 days. This is known as a warm maceration. If you prefer the cold method, just let it sit for the same 4 to 6 weeks as an alcohol tincture. Special considerations for Glycerites. Since glycerin does not preserve as well as alcohol, you must be extra careful about hygiene. Always use distilled water and make sure your jars are sterilized. If you see any signs of mold or a strange smell, discard the batch. Glycerites are best kept in the refrigerator to extend their lifespan. Common herbs for beginners. If you are just starting out, it is best to begin with herbs that are safe and versatile. Nervous system support. Lemon balm is a fantastic herb for tincturing. It has a bright citrus scent and is wonderful for calming anxiety or helping with sleep. It is best tinctured fresh in high-proof alcohol to capture its delicate oils. Skullcap and passion flower are also excellent choices for those looking to support a peaceful mind. Immune system boosters. Elderberry is a classic choice for the winter months. You can make an elderberry glycerite that tastes delicious and helps keep the family healthy. Echinacea is another powerhouse that is best extracted in alcohol. Tincturing the roots of echinacea provides a tingling sensation on the tongue, which is a sign of its potency. Digestive aids. Dandelion root and peppermint are staples for the digestive system. A dandelion tincture taken before a meal can help stimulate digestion, while peppermint is cooling and soothing for an upset stomach. Safety and ethics in herbalism. While making tinctures is fun, it comes with a responsibility to the plants and to your body. Dosage and sensitivity. Tinctures are concentrated. A few drops or a dropperful is usually a standard dose, but everyone reacts differently to herbs. Always start with a small amount to see how your body responds. If you are pregnant or nursing or taking pharmaceutical medications, consult with a healthcare professional before adding herbal extracts to your routine. Ethical harvesting. If you are gathering plants from the wild, always ensure you have a positive identification. Never harvest more than you need, and never take more than 10% of a wild stand. We want to ensure these plants continue to thrive for generations to come. Troubleshooting your tinctures. Sometimes things do not go exactly as planned. Here's how to handle common issues. Cloudy liquid. If your alcohol tincture looks cloudy, it might be because you used a lower proof alcohol with a very resinous herb, or there is some sediment from the plants. Usually this is harmless. You can try filtering it through a coffee filter if the aesthetics bother you. Evaporation. If you notice the liquid level in your jar dropping, check the seal on your lid. If the herbs become exposed to air, they can mold. Top it off with more alcohol and make sure the lid is tight. Using a piece of parchment paper between the metal lid and the jar can prevent the alcohol from corroding the lid and ensure a better seal. Advanced techniques and tips. Once you have mastered the basics, you can start experimenting with more complex methods. Percolation. Tinctures. This is a fast-track method that can produce a finished tincture in 24 hours. It involves packing finely powdered herbs into a funnel and slowly dripping alcohol through them. It requires more equipment and a bit of practice, but it is a great skill for when you need a remedy quickly. Double extractions. Some mushrooms like reishi or lion mane have compounds that are only soluble in water and others that are only soluble in alcohol. To get the full spectrum of benefits, you perform a double extraction. First, you tincture the mushrooms in alcohol for several weeks, and then you simmer the same mushrooms in water to create a strong decoction. Finally, you combine the two liquids. The joy of the herbal journey. There is something magical about a row of dark bottles lining a shelf. They represent a deep knowledge of the land and a commitment to self-care. Whether you're making a simple chamomile glycerite for a child or a complex immune formula for yourself, the act of creation is a form of healing in itself. Tincture making is a skill that grows with you. Each season brings new plants to work with and new lessons to learn. By understanding the relationship between the plant material and the solvent, you become a bridge between the botanical world and human health. The next time you walk through a garden or a forest, look at the plants through the lens of an herbalist. Imagine the medicine hidden within their leaves and roots. With a jar of alcohol and a bit of patience, you can unlock that medicine and bring it into your home.